Point your little stick, make darn sure you throw that Q-tip in the garbage. You don't want a little baby to get a hold of that and chew on that, so you might choke on that. Anyway, I always worry about little things like that. So the deeper you push this applicator, this oiler, into the oil, the more oil it's going to collect on the end, and the more oil you're going to feed into your bushings. The rule of thumb is if you can see the oil on the inside the cup, you just about have too much. So you don't have to put a huge amount of oil on. We don't want so much pressure that the oil attracts to the backside and capillate out. Capillary traction is a definite no-no. So I usually have a procedure on how I oil, and I generally oil the three main chain gears first, or the cable gears, which comes. And I'm going to show you how to do a Kieniger grandfather clock and a Hermel, a bigger Hermel clock, and several little mantle clocks and wall clocks. But we're going to do this one today. And now I've dripped this in there quite a ways, and I can see a huge buildup and on that. So we just want to go to the top, and it's already drawn through. So on these bigger ones, we want to put 2 on there. Now it's just drawn right in there, and that's as far much as we want. Put on the top. See how that went halfway around there? We'll do the other side. Okay. We'll do the same with the very last one. Now, I missed. I hit the pivot. I did it again. That's because I don't have my visors on. Alright, got it. Okay. Let me Alright. How cool that is. Now, I get to show you how to use this. Put a little grease or a little CR on there, and we're just gonna go around the top of that. Look at that, it just sucks it right off there. I don't know whether the camera can pick this up or not. Okay, I ran out of battery on my video, so I had to stop for a little bit and get it plugged in and get it ready to go again. So, sorry about that, but it is what it is. So, we'll come back in here now. I used the micro tip and cleaned that oil back out of here. So we just dip this in there, and there's a nice little drop right on there, and you go to the right side of the top of the pivot, and go to the left side, and that just draws right down in there. So now we want to go back to the right side, which is a strike, or the back side of the clock. We're going to do the strike side first. So we know we got this already oiled. So we're going to go right in here. This is a pretty good size shaft, so we want to make sure that it gets oiled twice. And too much. So we'll just it soaks that right up, I'll tell you that. Then make sure you just wipe it off. Then your applicator's ready for the next one. So, you know what, I'm going to put my visors on. I'm having a little trouble. I'm getting old. I can't see everything. Okay, now a while back here, I was supposed to get this one ready for you quite a while back, and unfortunately I had a little bit of a heart attack, I guess is what you might call that, and I had to go by ambulance to a hospital 150 miles away to get fixed. But I did make it, and I back to recovery now. So we'll get these videos done, and I apologize for being so late trying to get this one done, but you know, sometimes nature has its way. So now I've got my visors on so I can see a little bit better. So the deeper you push your probe in to that oil, the more oil you're going to collect on the end. And you just get in there. Oh, look at how nice that. This is great. Fantastic oil. Alright. Messed up. That's what these applicators are for. Okay. Not quite so much oil in this. You know, if you get too much, you just drag it off and take a little less. It's hard to gauge. Okay, got that one. Got that one's oiled. This was the one I had trouble with. Perfect. A little less oil on these top ones. This is a pretty good size shaft, so we'll do 2. And okay, now we're going to do the next one up here. And this is too much oil. Too much. Just enough. All right. So far, so good, huh? And I hit a little on that top pivot, and I don't want it on there. I don't want any oil leaking down through there. Okay. All right. Now, I cannot get oil down on the shaft here, and it's crucial that we get some in there. If you see a little, excuse me, if you see a little blip on the video, that's because I edited a little piece out. All right, I'm going to loosen this shaft up very carefully, and I'm going to lift it up, but not so far that it comes off the other gear. So let's see if we can make this work. All right. See how nice these are? They're very long, so you can come to the back, and these are knurled in the front and the back, so you have plenty of control on these. These are really fantastic oilers for clocks. Now I'm going to try and get in. Well, I hit it, so that's all right. Now, there's a little on the plate, and we're going to have to get that off of there. We're just using these little applicators. And I removed the oil on the pillar plate, or the back plate. But I didn't touch the shaft, because that would also destroy the oil. You have to be careful with that. This one is oiled, and I really can't get it from the back side either. Not very good, I can't. Let's see if I can though. Okay. Now, very carefully, we want to lower this gear back down so that it's in the middle of the primary drive gear on the hammers. So I got my thumb on the gear. And we're back to where we had it. And I cinched the screw. Now, I didn't crank on it until ready to bust. I just cinched it. So we're going to oil this hammer next, the strike hammer. And then we're going to come back in here and we're going to oil this. So we just, you can turn your clock whatever way it works for you to get oil in there. Now, this is a big shaft, and although it doesn't turn 360 degrees, I still like to make sure it's got a little oil. And it does. Now, we're going to put some grease on the star gear, and it's really difficult for you to see this. But, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and finish all the regular oiling. So, here's your hammers, and when you lift them up, you'll see there's cams on the edges. There's cams right here. Let's see if we can come in a little closer. Okay, we want to put oil, a little drop of oil, right in between each one of these hammers. And then we want to put grease on the back of the cams, which are connected to the hammer. When you get your clock out, you'll see these cams right here. And that little bit of grease needs to go on each one of those. Not oil, but grease. Now we'll oil just the sockets. You can see where they're moving. top of this one, and I just take that off of there. Alright, got that off of there, and I'm going to come back in here, spray that off. You want to wipe it down. Alright, now we're ready to go on to the other side, and we'll try and get it oiled up as best we can. Now, there are snap rings on these, but you see, this is, you want to, if this is sludged and you lift this rack up, I guess we're going to have to come back out a little bit. Okay, this is your rack. If you lift that up and it doesn't want to drop back down, you got problems, because you're going to have to take that little snap ring off, pull the rack out, and clean that off, and then re-oil it. If it drops like this one does here, see how it's just dropping? You're fine. Don't bother to oil it. You won't need to. I don't want you to take any parts off your clock, because it's going to get you in trouble. So we just try to leave everything on the clock that we can. So let's go ahead and try to do the front. Same way. We're going to do the sprocket gears, or the chain gears, first. And we're going to put a little on the left top side of the pivot, or and then on the right side of the pivot. That way we get a double charge of oil in there, and it will draw all the way around the shaft there. Use quite a lot, so you want to go in deep. So I'm on the left side. Now I'm on the right side. And it's drawn all the way down. So we'll do the same to the next one. Right side. Left side first, and then the right. I probably got us confused a little bit. Okay, we're on the left side first, and then the right side. Alright, now I hit it just a little bit on the top. So once again, you just use your applicator. I'm not going to try and touch that. I'm just going to go around the top of... Ooh, I went too far. Well, you tell you what, let's just take it all out of there. Now, you can see the oil. I don't know if you can see that or not. But you see how dark that is? It really sucked all that oil and probably whatever sludge was in there out of there. Okay, now I just cleaned that little applicator off, and you see it's just pure clean again. And so these are usable 8, 10 times, 20 times. So and I put several of these. I think there's 3 or 4 of them in each clock kit, and you'll love these. These are the nicest little oil soaker uppers you'll ever get. Okay, now we're just gonna go back and gently re-oil that. I'm not going to use quite so much oil. There we go. Left side first. Alright, she's done. Now we can go on. Yeah, whatever you do, don't push on these. These are just delicate little oilers, and you'll be buying a new insert for your oiler if you push on them. Okay, now these are your cams. This is the corrector cam, and this is your chime cam. So we're going to oil underneath both of those, and going to be very careful and try and get some oil in the well sinks out of there, right on the pivot shaft. This is going to be real hard on that other one. Okay, now we're going to try. I think we're going to have to come up from the top side. And be careful how you lay these down so you don't bend your hammers and stuff. I'm going to show you how to put the hammers straighten them back out and get them correct in your clock. But first things first, let's get it oiled. So now we're gonna. All right, let's see. How am I gonna get that? You know, I've forgotten because I always just pull all this stuff off when I'm out on the road. But I know how to reset this and reset the timing. I don't want you guys or people out there trying to reset your timing on your clocks, because it's just not all that easy to do. So we'll try and work this in the way we want. All right, let's see if we can get that. Got it. How lucky I was. Okay, now we got that one done. So now we've got both these cams oiled. So the last one we got is this little fella up here. Ooh, that's too much oil. You'll be able to see, your eyes are probably better than mine. I needed a visor. Man, there's just a little drop on this. And it lays right in the well sink or the oil sink. And it just stays right there. So you know your clock's going to get lubricated now for at least 3 or 4 years. It'll probably run just beautiful for you. Now, if their bushings are damaged or really bad on your clock, no matter how much oil you put in there, they're not going to run. But hopefully your maintenance on them has been done at least once or twice. And if not, you know, I'll show you in a minute here how you check these. Okay, now we've got the gear or the chain gears done, so we're going to go ahead and go straight up the time. The center chain drives your chime, or I'm sorry, drives your time. And there's, let's see, I think there's three. What is there? 3 or 4 gears there, so you'll know you need 3 or 4 pivots. There's no way to get the center one without taking it apart. And I'm going to get this top one. Going to get the next one down, which is right underneath this rack. And there's a pivot right underneath this cam here, this long arm cam. So you can just barely make it out. If you push your that cam up, you can see the pivot. Ooh, hit that first time. How about that? Okay. So now we got all those done. I'm going to look at the bottom side and just leave the minute shaft alone. You can't get to it, and the hour wheel does not need to be oiled on the shaft there. That's just a little loose on that, but it should be all right. All right, now we got this one done, so we just go straight up the ladder. Now here's your next one, is your another cam. See this cam right here? Right there. You got to go underneath and oil that. And it's pretty easy to get to. Alright, everything's been oiled. Oh, no it hasn't. One more. Right here. Alright, now I'm going to look. Yep, I got oil in all of these. It's just second nature to me, but it won't be for you. So you just have to really be careful. If you have a little magnifying glass you can get from the hardware store or something, so that you can eyeball your pivots. You'd think I'd be able to speak better than that. First thing you want to do is make sure that this is covered. You do not want to break those. They're not cheap. They take about 45 minutes to make one of those, and I make them 5 at a time to put in the kits, and put the inserts on these. By the time I get them done, there's a lot of time involved in these. Not so much material wise, but it takes a long time to build all these. So, and I make these in aluminum. Right now I think there was one in that one there for you. This is my own personal stock. And it's made out of brass. And I was originally going to make these out of brass, and I got to thinking, well, brass is expensive. So these are built out in aluminum, like the main oiler here, like this one here. And that's mine, and I don't have one made in brass with that one either. But I one of these days, if I get a little time, I might. Alrighty, now here's your cams. These cams generally don't have any pressure riding on them except for this one right here. This is the long arm of your cam. So, where is my grease? Here's my grease. You just use your shorter oil or greaser. It's just a little shorter than the long one, see? And you don't need that because you have a long stem on this, so this lets you get it anywhere you want. So now you want to put a little grab of grease right there and lift this up because it is going to have some pressure on it. This one has quite a bit of pressure, and we're just going to put a little bit right on the cam, the shaft itself, and that's all we need to do. Now if you look to the back, you're going to see a little fin, a little deal here, and we're going to put just a touch. It's just a little, can you see that? It's right here. It's just a little fin coming out. We're going to put a little bit of grease on that. What's nice about this grease is the company that manufactured it was thinking ahead, and so the grease is a mild grease, and it does not affect the plastic gears. And on some of these newer clocks, they have plastic gears and stuff, and they have cams that ride on them. So you want to use this kind of grease. That way you don't have to remember or anything about what can be greased or not. Okay, now we're going to do one more thing. Well, two more things. I don't know that I can get you in here close enough to see this or not. There's a gear, a little star gear. Alright, let's see. This is your hammer, your strike hammer. And in between here, if you just follow it, you're going to see a little flap, and it's going to have little teeth, little gear teeth in it. So let's see if we can. I think you can see it. It's right here. This little fellow right here. We want to put a little grease on that. If you don't, the star gear that pushes up, it's a cam, and it runs the strike hammer. If you don't put some grease on that, what happens is it wears a little groove right through the metal hammer, that little flapper there. So You want to get a little glob about that big. See where you can see it on there? And we're just going to put it on the inside of that right there. Alrighty. By the way, this grease in that bottle of oil that you get with your kit will probably order oil 100 clocks for you. So, you know, it's a one-time buy. Alright, that would do that. Now we got to come back over here and we got to put a little oil, a little grease on these cams. Back here on these backs. So, you're going to put right here, right here, right here, and right here. You really need to make sure there's grease on them. Okay, believe it or not, I burned up all the disk time, so I had to shut down, upload all the videos, and then clean the disk off, or the little chip inside the camera, so we could continue. Now, we're going to take these hammers and we're going to put our fingers like this. We're going to pull them all the way back, and now we can put grease right there on each of these cams. And it don't matter if you get a little grease on these, because that's what they're greasing, is those little lobes. I consider this the most important thing there is here on these hammers, is to be sure you get plenty of grease on them. And that's what this little tool right here is for. Comes with the kit. Now you can wipe it off and you're done there. Alright, that's done. So we've got couple things to make a point of. One, don't put when you grab your clock, make sure you grab on the outside like this. Don't get your hands on these butterfly wheels. See these little butterflies? And those things you sneeze and they'll bend. And you'll cry to figure out how much those cost to replace. So, and I have done it, you know, I've grabbed like this and had my thumb in here and grabbed one of those butterflies and accidentally bent one. You know, everything you could do wrong on a clock, I've done it. So I'm just trying to think of everything for when you're doing it yourself, you don't get yourself in trouble here. I just want to try and make sure everything is thought out methodically. Excuse me. The next thing we got to do is we got to oil the escape wheel. Now, this is a little hard to see, so let's see if we can do a tighter cut here. Oh, stand by. I'm going to do some fixing here. Okay. This right here is your verge, and what I'm hitting here is the pellet fork, and it controls an escape wheel, and that's what releases the power and unwinds the weights and keeps your time accurate. So when you look at this, and I'm trying to get in here so you can see this, it's right here, and there's a gear right down below it. So you want to oil every other tooth on that escape wheel, and don't worry if you hit two at the same if you hit two or three at the same on each tooth, it doesn't matter. We're trying to get about every other one, and you can move this back and forth, and it'll help move the gear. And then you can oil two or three more, and then move a couple, three, oil two, three more, etc. And that's what that little bottle of escape wheel oil, which it looks the same as the big bottle, but it's heavier oil, and it stays on the on the escape wheel teeth a lot better. Now this is what the bottle looks like. If I can get it in here. Let's see if we can just move everything. No, just. It's right here. And I just dip mine in there like that. And there's oil there. And the idea is on each one of those teeth, you just barely touch it. It's going to have plenty of oil. You can't over oil just by dipping it in here. And so make sure you don't drop that or spill your oil out, because those aren't cheap either. So let's see if I can try and get in here as close as I can. Let's see if I can. Well, just bear with me here. I'm trying to get this so you can see it. Okay. You can see the gear. It's right here. I'll move it a little bit here for you. And there's little teeth on that. Those are escape wheel teeth. So you just want to oil. You keep your finger on your verge so that you can move those. Okay, I hit 3 teeth, so I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3. All right, wiggling this back and forth, this verge helps move those teeth forward. So now we're gonna go in there and oil a couple more of them. Alright. You'll get the idea, I'm sure. Now I got my baby finger on the power wheel, and I'm pushing the power wheel so that it makes the escape wheel move forward. And you just do it till you get all the way around, and you'll see oil again when you get all the way around. And now I can see that there are teeth all the way around getting oil. So I'm just going to put a little power on it. My little finger. Now I'm just rocking the gear back and forth. And that's all there is to it. Simple, huh? Easy peasy. Easy does it. Alrighty. Now we're going to put our oil away. I noticed I have a little piece of black in there. It was just a little piece of contaminant. Alright, my oil's good. And I'll back her back out so we can see. I'm not sure how much of that you were able to see, but hopefully enough. It's called the escape wheel, and the pellet fork operates the escape wheel. So our clock is finished, and the video is getting really long. So what I thought I would do is I'll create a new video and show you how to install the clock back into your cabinet, and that'll be another video. So I'll try and make one up later on tonight or first thing in the morning, so you can see how these are put back in, and I'll show you how to set this timing, this verge, so you can set the time on it, and your clock should run just fine. So with that, I'll say thanks for watching. This video got a little long, and I'm really sorry about that, but it just, it takes so long to show you how to oil one and do it properly, and I want these to be perfect for you. So the next thing we got to do, like I said, we'll put this back in the clock, and we'll get it bolted back in, and I'll show you how to adjust your hammers, and we'll go from there. So there'll be a third video for this one, and it'll probably be a 5 or a 10-minute video, so that it won't take so long. But you should know how to put these back in. So make sure you put your grease lids back on. Your oil caps are all tight before you put this back in your box, your little kit box. So thanks for watching. As always, I really appreciate the replies that I get on the videos. It kind of tells you people are paying attention and wanting to learn. So you folks have a nice evening, and we'll catch you on the next video and show you how to put this clock back in. Thanks for watching.